Good morning and welcome. It's Good Morning Anambra, 1st November episode, and we're so delighted to be here. You're welcome to the new month and welcome to Good Morning Anambra show. My name is Nonye Nwokoye. Let's begin with a press review. It's press review and you're welcome to the show. Let's quickly intimate you how we do it here. It's audience participatory. You have the opportunity to call and make your own opinion count on any issue raised here. And of course, we've been joined by two guests this morning, Tony and Ibwe. You're welcome to the studio.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning.
All right, we also welcome Abuchi Onwumelo. Good to have you, Abuchi.
Thank you. Good morning, Anambra.
All right, we have so many papers here for review and of course stories making the headlines on ABS website. Let's start with the stories on ABS website. Southeast governors to commence joint patrol to tackle insecurity, flooding. NMA task government on measures to prevent epidemics. Orumba South Council area receives agricultural subsidies from Anambra government. And international organizations visit people displaced by flood in Anambra State. All right, Tony, let's start with you.
Insecurity.
Okay.
Joint
patrol.
Well, is a commendable effort. It's a good thing that the Southeast governors are joining hands together to handle insecurity. That's the way it ought to have been because by the time we were advocating for joint regional security outfit, many people opposed it, especially from the center. For whatever reason they have, we don't know. But we know that regions like Nigeria was originally created on regional basis. They have their similarity, they have the things that bring them together. So in the Southeast, ab initio, we know how we handle insecurity in our area, even before the advent of colonial government. Okay? So when we are calling for that regional outfit to secure our land, people were seeing it from different angle. Right now, it has shown that it's actually going to be the solution to our problem because Ndenugu and Anambra were boundary. You understand? And Ndenugu and Anambra were like Kafasi and Meife. There's a way we do things. I remember during the time of I think it was in Banunju's period, when they had what they called Bakasi, before it was bastardized. People took it up to themselves to pursue criminals. The way it is in their own way, that is what I call the local approach. Okay, so, and by that time I know it was actually, criminality was reduced to a barest minimum until politicians played into it and messed this up. So, this one is a very good approach. Regional security patrol. I think I like it.
All right, Abuchi.
Yeah, I want to share the same sentiment with my brother here. It's a right call in the right direction. My only take is that we shouldn't abuse it or have it compromised by politicians. What I mean by that is that people using it for nefarious activities or to the detriment of another. If we call it a joint security network, it's okay if it will be sustained and if they will truly be sincere and be alive to their responsibility. Just like you said, Southeast is very small in terms of geographical locations. So we can easily manage our boundaries if we are genuine about our approach.
Okay, let's see. NMA tasked government on measures to prevent epidemics. especially the people affected by flood. And of course, international organizations visit people displaced by flood in Anambra State. Let's look at that and see what actually is going on with them. Abuchi?
Yeah, it's a good call, and NMA calling on governments and talking about measures is a kind of something we all are aware of. We are not new to this kind of call. People have been calling individuals, not just government or parastatals, professionals. People have been doing that over the years. But the thing is that when it happened in 2012, it was so massive, and a lot of calls like this were actually springing up. People were doing all manner of things to get to the government to do the needful. But what we have in this country, we easily forget. Once we are done with a particular phase, we all go our own separate ways, and nobody will talk about the incident that occurred. That is why we keep repeating the same thing, hoping that we'll get a different result. So this call is up and timely. I just hope that the government will use this opportunity to do the needful for the very first time. If we talk about this flooding, it is something we can, on our own, put a stop to and stop future occurrence. But we will not do it. We will be playing politics with it, and that is to the detriment of the poor masses. Because look at the averagely, those people who are victims of this flooding incidents, especially in Anambra and some parts of Kogi and all, if you look at them critically, you see that there are still those people who eat from hand to mouth. Some of them are being subjected to abject penury, considering the economic hardship, and now they are facing flooding. The big men are there in Abuja. They can easily erect a new building within 1 month. But a poor man who is in the village, maybe who spent over 20 years building just a bungalow, how do you expect that person to cope? So we are calling on the government not just to listen to us talk. Let them match their words with action. It's time we put a stop to this.
All right, and let's move on. The first paper for review, the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's see stories making the headlines on the Daily Sun newspaper. Abuja terrorism alert. FG confirms suspects arrests. Says security concerns raised by US, UK being addressed. Urges Nigerians to go about businesses without fear. Stay of execution. Nnamdi Kanu heads to Supreme Court. Herdsmen list conditions for peace in communities. Demand gazetting of 415 grazing reserves. Obi disowns manifesto in circulation, says it's not approved. Buhari jets out for 2-week medical check in London. My salary stopped for exposing corruption at Finance Ministry, claims of female staff. Letter of credit saga. Yerima seeks federal government support for air peace. Ex-UIDVC recounts close shave with death in kidnappers' den. And Uzodinma seeks mandatory oath taken by candidates against violence. And Buhari warns police against unprofessional conduct during elections, with a rider there reiterate commitment to credible election. Atiku mocks Tinubu over visit to Fasuranti. All right, Tony, which one are you looking at? A lot of stories in front of this
so much story here, very, very interesting. One, I want to look at herdsmen's list condition for peace in communities.
All right.
Because this is a precursor of insecurity we are talking about. Because already somebody or some people are listing condition for peace, in which case they know why there is no peace in communities. And we know the people. I remember a few years ago, people were giving us a threat that Nigeria will burn if they are not giving land to graze. The federal government kept quiet. People were complaining. People like us were calling on government to, first of all, bring those people that we are giving this threat. Why should you demand the land from somebody? And when the person did not give you, you start to threaten the person. I am a farmer. I go out and seek the land for my farm. I buy the land. Nobody is giving me land in any community. Why is herdsmen and the cattle rearers at their own aspect of agricultural business? It's personal. Why should they be threatening communities and endangering peace? And they are giving condition, and the government is allowing them to give condition. As in Okwana Asanya na Rebibo, This is what is happening in the, so when you talk about joint patrol for security and this, have you started to deal with the ones you know? Because you have to start from the one you know to deal with the one you don't know. Herdsmen have given us every indication that they are part of the insecurity problem we have in this country. And nobody is doing anything about that. Well, that is by the way. Let's look at their condition, which they have enumerated here, demand gazetting of 415 grazing reserve. Forcefully erecting the grazing reserve in people's land. They have, I'm sure somebody have made it clear that Zambiza Forest can host all the entire cattle in Nigeria, and we still have space. Can they go there and graze? That is by the way. Then on issue of flood, like my brother said, it has become a perennial issue almost every year.
Yeah.
The solution to flooding in Nigeria is doing what? Dredging the River Niger. If you look at the River Niger from the bridge there, you will see that it's filled with sand. In fact, it's not deep. So any excess water added will overflow. What's preventing the government from using all this money they are, both Abacha loot, this loot, and the recovery money, what are they using it to do? Instead of dredging the River Niger, taking the date so deep that no amount of money or water that comes in will overflow. So this is a problem, we know the solution. We don't want to solve it. Now, incidentally, there is always going to be a situation like epidemics when people converge. Because in these camps where people are coming in, they are crowded, and then even spread everywhere. So calling on government is one, but the actual thing is how do we stop reoccurrence so it doesn't continue?
All right, I think relevant authorities should take note. Quickly, we move on to the Punch newspapers. Remember, it's press review, and the lines are on your screen to call and make your opinion count. You can also drop your message on our Facebook page. All right, on the Punch newspapers, we have terror alert. Federal government reassures Nigerians, pushes back against US, UK. We tried as the foreign minister to warn ambassadors against alarming advisories. And terror alert irresponsible, go about normal business, security chiefs. Transcorp Hotel sets new security protocol. FCT police meet hotel operators. And we also have commuters stranded as Lagos commercial drivers protest extortion. IOC is polluting Nigeria, must face sanctions, federal government. Naira devaluation will worsen Nigeria's food energy crisis. World Bank. FG exceeds loan target by 1.12 trillion naira, borrows 5.3 trillion naira. And we can also see marketers protest 185 liter fuel, threatened strike. Lagos-Ibadan highway kidnappers killed captives over ransom. Collected 3.2 million from my father. Lady talking. To 2023 elections, don't be partisan. Buhari cancels police. Okay. Okay, so Lagos can Anglican Diocese mourn Bishop Onumakaye. Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, let me quickly talk about the terror alert. Yes, at FCT. It's really sad, really a sad commentary that at this point in time, we are still talking about insecurity in seat of power. That should tell you how porous our Nigerians, or rather how porous we are. We are just living by the mercy of God. Nothing is really working. If Abuja will be this threatened and a lot of people being kidnapped, school children and all that, hotels are putting up security measures, that should tell you that Nigeria really, we are in deep mess as far as security is concerned. And the people are no longer comfortable with the word. Go about your normal business.
Not just, and look at the way they are waving it. They said, look at Abuja, they said it's irresponsible. You know, these people that issued this have taken away their people.
Exactly. And that's what they keep telling us. They want us to play down on the insecurity. Do you know that in this, because we are in this part of the country that we're finding it a bit better in terms of analyzing what is happening out there. The insecurity in, I say, a section of the country, let me not mention, but if you go there, government would like to play it down for people not to know. Now Abuja is becoming so porous by the day, and people are cashing in big. Those people who are cashing, they all know them. And now this is a prelude to what we are to expect in 2023 election. February is around the corner. People are not even seeing it from that angle. If Abuja could be captured, my brother, by the time we get to that election, peak of election time next year, people will be running scatter. So that is more reason why FG should sit up. It's not enough to say that it should stop giving about security alarms and all that. It is time we call a spade a spade. The security should sit up. They should find a way to protect the life and property of Nigerians. That is what the responsibility they are saddled to do from the world go. So if the Buhari of this, as the president of Nigeria, is jetting out for his routine medical checkup, and many people are dying out from gunshots, stray bullets and all that, and you are going to London where you have better security services, why not come back here and let's sit down and work it out and get things working again?
All right, we move on. The Daily Independent is next in our lineup. Let's see stories on the Daily Independent. Okay, Buhari wants police, ask them to be politically neutral, says security threat is challenge to them. I think let's take that story from the Daily Independent. Tony?
No, it's to be politically neutral. Well, actually, naturally, you don't even need to warn anybody. The truth remains that the government agencies during election must be neutral.
Yeah.
You see, this is in a state of corruption, state of decay, and state of irresponsibility that you will see the umpires coming to be partial in a process like selecting leadership or election. So it is a very good a point raised by the president to warn those people, not just police, all the government agencies that are involved in the election process must have to remain neutral. And not just remaining neutral, they must make people know that they are neutral. They act it out, and not just to come on air and say we are neutral. People are watching everything. People know when but the incident thing in this country is that nobody cares. Let me say it that way. They do what they do with impunity. They know what they are doing. They are doing it because they believe people cannot do anything. And incidentally, the Nigerians don't do anything. It's just like he was talking about this insecurity alert. You are not even happy that a nation that has more connection is telling you their problem that is going to face. You should even be thankful. And they have taken steps to even evacuate their own people, to show you that it is not just an empty threat. Yeah. To let you understand that actually there are people who should not be part of this mess that is happening. And you are saying it is irresponsible. I think it is.
And even in front of this day newspaper, the NSA is saying that Nigeria is not under any heightened sense of insecurity.
Here we see the president warns police, and this is under it, the rider says security threat a challenge. In other words, the president is acknowledging that it's a security threat.
Yes.
Now, why could somebody say it's irresponsible to warn Nigerians that they should be careful about? This thing happened in Afghanistan. This is the way it happened.
Yeah.
Before you know, the Taliban took over the entire country.
And the Americans started, they evacuated their people before
it happened, because they knew it would happen. So I don't know why we in a country like Nigeria, where we have almost everything to take care of our problem, we are becoming the problem to ourselves. Incidentally, is a shame anyway.
Okay.
But let me quickly add that could it be a tacit attempt, about a particular, because there are people, these people causing this insecurity we're talking about are known to be a particular people and from a particular religion. Killing is nothing to them. So if this is what they are planning in 2023, Nigeria should resist it right now. Let's start now to talk. If they cannot acknowledge the fact that the developed countries are giving us warning why we should sit up security-wise, and we are playing down on it, something is fishy. So we need to speak out.
Okay, on this day newspaper, I think we have to take the story of Kwankwaso saying, I sold my properties to sponsor 3,000 students, local, overseas. The details of that story could be found on page 44 of the paper. And also, China Harbour completes construction of a $1.5 billion Lekki Deep Sea Port. Sanwo-Olu vows to provide transport infrastructure. Quickly, can we take the story of Kwankwaso?
Let me say the man Kwankwaso shouldn't be, we should be ashamed of ourselves. somebody will tell me, is it not a good thing? I don't need to commend him for that. What is wrong with us? How can we proud to say that we are sponsoring people abroad to go and study? What's happened to our educational system? When he was the governor of Kano State, what did he do? This should be the question. If they have a good education system, you shouldn't be talking about sending anyone abroad. The money you are using to send people abroad will be used to develop our own state. It should be used to develop other sectors. But we are not doing anything. Take, for instance, somebody who could not fix the health sector while he was there at the Senate for many years. He couldn't offer any meaningful thing in his own locality, in his own senatorial district. At a point, the daughter became sick, and they're running abroad, and you see the mess he had got himself into. If we have a better healthcare system, this issue, whatever that befell him, would have become in the first instance, because we'll be fixing here those things here. Now, Kwankwaso is telling us, we want us to clap for him when so many children are out of school, so many school buildings are dilapidated, and you're talking about sending somebody abroad. For what?
All right, The Nation newspaper is next in the lineup. The Nation newspaper. On The Nation newspaper, we have Tinubu Adebanjo under fire over Southwest stand. With the rider there is on his own, says YCE General Secretary Fasuranti remains Afenifere leader. Now, no decision yet on who to vote for as president, says Wike. Gunmen kidnap 4 travelers in Ekiti. Okay, and freed ex-UIDVC. I was shot in the head. Okay, federal government dismisses US-UK terror alert on Abuja. We've seen that before. All right, quickly, let's see the stories on The Nation newspaper. I don't know, Tinubu Adebanjo under fire over Southwest stand. What's your take? What story are you looking at? Tony?
I don't know. You see, I don't like discussing problems that doesn't concern me.
Which one doesn't
Why should I
concern you?
discuss about, what do you call it, YCE issues? You understand? When we have very big problem in the country and we're discussing about Adebanjo and Tinubu. The problem is when the federal government says, you see, dismisses US terror. We have discussed that actually, but it's still paying me. That in the next few months, if care is not taken, because I'm reading somebody's submission last night, and he was talking about plan to overrun Nigerian government and take over Abuja. In fact, the write-up was talking about a planned coup. My brother says there's something in this country which nobody wants to be sincere about. Federal government has made it clear several times, even during the time of Jonathan, that Boko Haram personnel are in Aso Rock. When Jonathan made that statement, up to today we still know that there are so many terrorists that are in Aso Rock. What are they up to? They want to give this country to another bunch of, in fact, terror. Because anytime the military take over, anything can happen. The federal government has opportunity now to deal with this insecurity. But what we see is like the ASCO attitude, pretending that nothing is happening. You say you are dismissing US terror alert. Yet, incidents has happened where some arrests have been made inside Abuja. Arrest of terrorists. So what else are you dismissing? Why are you dismissing this terror alert? So I'm not concerned about what Adebanjo and the rest of them are saying, because it is infinitesimal issue to me. What concerns me is the safety of Nigerians, both in the federal capital and elsewhere, because on what we have the body academy. Immediately Abuja is overrun, the entire nation is gone. Okay, so let Nigerians start now to make it clear, because the end of the year is always a very dicey period. Anything can happen, and look at the election that is coming on now. Okay.
Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. Let's see stories on the Guardian newspaper. Dollar scarcity worsens as banks ration withdrawals. BDC is stressed. We can't give what we don't have, banks tell customers. High cash holders mop up black market, push Naira to highway. BDC dealers at Eco Hotel trade over 2 billion Naira on Friday. Finance Ministry boils over Cold War between CBN and Minister. UBA alternative fiscal monetary coordinating structure required. CBN Act needs to specify working relationship between two offices. Okay, we also see other stories. Anglican Archbishop of Lagos Province, Olumakiye, dies at 53. The federal government dismisses US. Okay, we've seen that before. Akintoye accuses Tinubu of planning to destroy Yoruba self-determination group. Okay, let's see. Can we look at the story of dollar exchange? Okay.
The dollar exchange. In fact, we're in for a very big mess. I wouldn't want to overflog that issue. I've said it before. This is not really the good time for Nigerians. We are crying before of economic hardship occasioned by recession and lack of prudency and frugality. Here we are in for real thing, which is the dollar. If the businessmen could not afford dollars to transact their businesses, then things will still getting worse by the day. Because while we are finding it easier for now that you go to the market, maybe you see upward review of maybe 20% increase in a particular goods. This time around, it will be 100% increase.
Well, we are talking about several, we are saying 788 yesterday. I was saying 800. Today is 818 according to Daily Trust per dollar.
So that is just to tell you that we need to brace up. That should be what we should be thinking of. I just want to align myself with what my brother said. He said that there are things that are irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, some of this war of words between the Yorubas, high chiefs and the politicians shouldn't disturb us as a nation. We have critical issues facing us, staring us in the face. The issue of this dollar increase, issue of insecurity. These are the things we should be talking about. How the way forward.
And whether we like it, prices of goods and services. Okay, let's move on to...
you see the dollar increase. Yeah. Sorry. The scarcity of dollar is actually as a result of politicians. We are aware that recently politicians started buying voters with dollar. And dollar will make the money compact. So they use their money and their connection to buy all the dollars. And they are keeping them for what election. Even the change of the design of Naira is still not going to touch them because their money is in dollar.
Okay.
So this is where the scarcity of dollar is, and they are increasing it because more will now go to buy dollar in the name of evading this redesign of that.
Okay, let's move on. The Daily Trust newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see. Okay, still the banner headline there is still on dollar scarcity hits. Bede says sells at 818 naira. Per dollar. Very, very, I don't know how to really describe this issue. The federal government says US terror alert. Okay, we've seen that. I sold my property to give 300 students. We've seen that too. From prison to presidency, Brazil's ruler rises from ashes. And FG, Lagos investment in Lekki Port to generate 287 trillion naira. Uganda, Nigeria at high risk of Ebola. Census NMPC begins recruitment as FG urged to patronize local ICT firms. Okay. We have a crop of issues coming up, and now Uganda is saying that Nigeria is at high risk of Ebola. And we have insecurity, high rise of dollar exchange and what have you. Flooding, and now petrol is I think fuel has risen. The price of fuel has just risen.
Somebody said it
yesterday. Okay, now we are they are talking about high risk of Ebola. Which way, Nigeria?
That's the question we should be asking ourselves. But we are not asking those probing questions because we want to massage our ego. Our leaders wouldn't want to talk about it because they are so concerned about next election. And in fact, this is even, I think there is reason for this. I believe that Nigeria will see more reason to vote out some of these eggheads that have been holding Nigeria down for many years. It should be a new dawn. I'm not here to talk about partisan politics, but deep down let us search our consciences and come out with a resolution that we are saying no to these people who have subjected us to this kind of inhuman treatment over the years. We can't continue to recycle the same people and expecting to get a different result. We know that some of them, they've overstayed their welcome and they have nothing to offer us. If there is anything that they can offer us, the current government of the day would have fixed some of these issues, but they are already at loss. They have nothing to do. They cannot even offer any meaningful advice. They cannot make any meaningful headway security-wise. The issue of flooding is there. Now the dollar is in the increase and people are running helter-skelter. Feeding now 3 square meal is now even a serious issue. You see people rushing to function. If you are doing naming ceremony, whether invited or not invited, they will come. Even if you ask them, are you invited? Say, I'm invited, because they want to eat. People are hungry. These are the things. Yes, go to functions. People have filled the whole places. Non-invitees are even more better.
All right, let's go to Nigerian Tribune. There's something I want to read out from this paper now. Still on that U.S. security alert, needless, no cause for alarm, coming from NSA. There's a rider there. It says, I would like to assure all the citizens of this country that any exaggerated sense of insecurity, any hype about a disintegration of our security forces, intelligence agencies is unfounded. The issue of Nigerians being made to panic is unnecessary. I want to dispel any illusion about any heightened sense of insecurity. It is false. It is irresponsible for anybody to give that signal. You know, before now, Nigeria used to be calmer before 2015. Tony, am I right? Okay, now they are trying to, you know, say that whatever that is needless, is pointless, that Nigeria should not panic. I don't know what actually is going on, like you earlier said. But before you look into that, let's read out other headlines. Okay. 1 year after Ikoyi building collapse, government here to demolish 2 other towers. Mieti Alale's condition. Okay, we've seen that before in the other papers. Tico Group faults endorsement of Tinubu in Akure. Ebola, NCDC warned Nigerians against non-critical travel to Uganda. Okay, and you can see, okay, government abduct 4 Ibadan-bound travelers in Ekiti. Okay, let's look at that rider that I read out with abduction of 4 people in Ibadan. Okay.
Right now, the train travelers that were abducted some months ago have not all been returned. And day in, day out, every day, more people are being abducted, more attacks are being staged on our highways and our roads. Most of these people that are saying to dispel this alerts travel only by air. They no longer travel on road because of the danger of insecurity. Yet, Mongunu is still telling us that, you see, all through these years, just like you said, within that 2015 till date, we have always been assured that nothing will happen. And gradually things have been happening. All the alerts, all the information that we've been told not to take into consideration or cognizance of, have all played out. You understand? We are told some years back that the whole Nigeria, because initially it was localized in the northeast. Right now, everywhere in Nigeria has been under security threat. And we know that those days they were telling us that nothing bad is happening, that we must disregard all the security alert threat. What the truth remains is that these people, whoever is talking this way, is an agent of insecurity. That person doesn't want to accept that there is problem. Right now, you're talking about abduction along the road, and he knows that he cannot even travel to his hometown on road. So what else do you want me to say about somebody telling us not to? What I would like to hear from the National Security Advisor is roadwork or plan to make sure that our country is secure. Not to waste his time trying to tell us to not to disregard insecurity threat, because we know nobody will tell you. It is even in the air. Everybody is smelling insecurity everywhere. Okay,
let's look at the Lagos Anglican bishop that died at 53. This is barely 1 week after a Kadasis bishop died in Delta State last week. So I don't know. It's really hitting hard on the Anglican communion. Abuchi, could you?
I may so rest in peace. In fact, it's really not a good one. At the age of 53, still a young man, full of hope and aspiration. So, and now his life has been cut short. Will I say, I won't question God, but let the Almighty give him that peaceful rest and grant the family the fortitude to bear the loss. It's not just easy, and being a leader, a Christian leader, and being the Archbishop of Lagos, Anglican Communion, it calls for a sober reflection. It calls for mourning period. I'm condoling with my fellow Christians and Anglican faithful there in Lagos and all over Nigeria to please take solace in the fact that he has done his work, and as a man of God, for him to have risen to that level of Archbishop, that shows that he has actually walked his way to the Lord's vineyard, and we wish that his good works will speak for him on the last day.
Okay, we pray that God console the families they left behind. All right, before we wrap up, let's look at this story. 1 year after Ikoyi building collapse, government yet to demolish 2 other towers.
What do we expect? All these are the failure of government has been staring us in the face. These are things that nobody should even talk about or even like to go back to, because that collapse and all its attendant consequences, the collateral damage that it caused, government ought to have taken a proactive action or measure to make sure any order that's within that area that is going to, because most times when the building collapse, there are other people, other structures around
that could be affected.
Okay. Their foundation check.
Okay, well, we can go on and on to look at issues affecting Nigerians, but that's how much time could allow us take on the program, the press review. Would like to appreciate you so much, Abuchi, for being here on the show. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, and happy new month to Anambra and Nigerians.
All right, thank you so much, Tony, for being here this morning.
Thank you very much. All right,
and that's it on Press Review. More coming on Good Morning Anambra Show. Do stay.